Hey everyone, I want to take a moment to talk about something really important: mental health and addiction. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or drug addiction, especially if they're facing chronic relapses or have a history of bouncing in and out of treatment centers, I want to recommend Baja Rehab. Baja is a premier lockdown treatment center located just 45 minutes from the San Diego border in beautiful Mexico. I've had the opportunity to visit their facility, and I can tell you firsthand it's not only stunning, but also equipped with everything needed for recovery. They offer comprehensive medical detox and have a dedicated team of drug counselors and specialized therapists. If you are ready to take the first step towards healing, call Shalom, the intake director, at 619-855-6368. That's 619-855-6368. Your loved ones deserve a second chance, so don't wait until it's too late. Reach out to Baja Rehab today. This is the Fuck Fentanyl guy letting you know if you or a loved one is injured in a motorcycle accident, then call 1-800-Lawtigers for a free case evaluation. We are available 24/7. That's 1-800-Lawtigers, with over $1.5 billion recovered in verdicts and settlements. Nobody got your back more than Lawtigers. This episode is brought to you by SD Sober Living. If you or someone you know needs a safe, supportive recovery home, then reach out to SD Sober Living at www.sdsoberliving.org or call 619-334-9869. That's 619-334-9869. Come get some fuck fentanyl and some San Diego recovery at SD Sober Living.
I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. Wish that I could slow things down. I wanna let go, but there's comfort in the panic. And I drive myself crazy, thinking everything's about me. Yeah, I drive myself crazy, cause I can't escape the gravity. I'm holding on. Why is everything so heavy? Holding on to so much more than I can carry. I keep dragging around what's bringing me down. If I just let go, I'd be set free. Holding on.
Yeah. Linkin Park and Kiera, Heavy. Nice. I like that song.
Good shit.
Fuck yeah. I think I can't believe it. I think that's my first Linkin Park song on here. All right. My name is Luis Romero. I'm the Fuck Fentanyl guy, and this is the Fuck Fentanyl podcast. I have my friend Rebekah on. How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Hell yeah. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, me too.
You just hit a milestone recently.
I did.
What was it?
4 years.
4 years.
On July 7th.
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Here, let's just start it out with like this. There we go. You're fucking awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Wow. And did you always grow up here in San Diego?
Yeah, so I grew up in East County, San Diego.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah, so like El Cajon area.
No way, really?
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that.
I swear my East County is showing like all the time.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It pops up.
It pops up. Can't get out of there completely. But yeah, no, I'm a native, but
Oh, no shit.
made my way out of East County.
I was about to ask that. Did you do the little geographical to get out of there?
I did, and I left a few times. When I was 18, I moved out of my parents, and I made my way to Jersey, and that was because I was running from the law. But
oh no, shit.
We can maybe get into that a little bit later.
We will. We'll touch up on that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, I guess let's just start. When did you start using drugs and alcohol?
So that question's like a little like. I get like I overthink it, and I'm like, well, the first time I ever tasted alcohol was probably like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like I had sips here and there from like my parents at like a restaurant. I have a sip of a margarita or like a small glass of champagne at a holiday.
Right.
But really, like the first like memorable time for me was when I was like 12 years old, about 6th grade. snuck out into my backyard. So I climbed out my window and stayed in my backyard for some reason. I had stolen some wine coolers from my parents, I chugged them in the backyard with my middle school boyfriend. And like, it wasn't like off to the races like a lot of people are. For me, like, I really liked it. It made me feel cool. It made me feel like an adult. And I felt like that was the thing that adults did. And I always wanted to be older because I'm the youngest of 6 kids. I was the baby. I was always treated like the baby. And everyone that was older than me always got to drink. And so for me, like that mindset of like, well, you're older, you're cooler, you get to call the shots, like you get to be in control. And those were all things that I craved and desired. It's like, I want to be like in charge of myself and everyone around me. And if I can drink, I can do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But, you know, I dabbled here and there. Middle school was weird. I actually didn't start smoking weed until I was 15.
Okay.
But I got suspended pending expulsion in 8th grade because I was selling fake weed to classmates on behalf of my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, I see.
He asked me to do it. He had already been kicked out of the school, so I was asking people around.
Your girlfriend.
Yeah, and then the principal found out, and they pulled me out of class. I had a cop come.
No way.
My mom came in, and she was like, she smelled it, and she was like, guys, this is oregano.
Yeah.
This is not weed, but whatever. Test it. Do what you got to do.
Oh, my God.
They tested it. It wasn't weed. So
they had to test it, really?
They let me back in. Yeah, they were really serious about it.
Oh, my God.
And like, for me, it was just like one of those things where I could just blame it on, you know, it was my boyfriend's fault and I was like a victim. And that kind of started a cycle for me. That's very prominent in my story, is blaming everyone around me and not taking ownership and accountability for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I had to ask, is there, I've never sold fake weed, but I'm just curious, did anyone ever like complained about the weed?
It was literally one day. I never even actually sold it to anyone. I was just telling people about it, and people were interested.
I see.
And then somebody was talking about it to their friend, and they were walking in front of the principal, and he overheard them, so they pulled me out of class and took it. So I didn't actually even make a single
you didn't
sale.
Even do the transaction.
It did not get that far.
It was a conspiracy.
Probably, thankfully. Like I'd hate to be like swindling kids out of it. But he was my boyfriend at the time was selling the fake weed to support his actual weed habit.
His actual weed habit,
which then eventually turned into like more harder drugs for him, which is
I see. Were you with him for a while, or was it just
for 4 years? But it was 6th grade through 9th grade,
yeah,
so it was like middle school boyfriend. Doesn't really count, but that relationship fucked me up quite a bit.
I could tell. It's already going downhill. So wow. So you started smoking the real stuff at 15. So you were in high school and already.
Yeah. So I was in high school. I was between sophomore and junior year. It was the summer between sophomore and junior year. I was over at a friend's house from church. I grew up in church. That's also a big part of my story. I'm not religious anymore.
Sure.
I'm very spiritual and have a higher power and all that. I have a lot of religious trauma. I grew up in what I call like basically a cult. We were homeschooled for several years. My older siblings all the way through high school, me only until 6th grade. But
no shit.
And then my mom sewed our dresses. Like we were very we had at-home Bible studies with my dad. It was like really intense.
Oh, really?
And so for me, like around 15 was the age I started questioning all that. I really wanted to be like the good Christian girl for like many years of my life.
But when you got older, you were like,
I was like, some of this doesn't make sense. The fire and brimstone and the just like the punishing nature of it was
absolutely.
just didn't make sense to me. So I went on the opposite end of the spectrum and completely rebelled. I'm a total cliche.
Okay.
I was hanging out with a friend from church, and her brother had some weed and offered us to smoke. And I just
the devil's lettuce?
Yeah, the gateway drug.
Yeah, the gateway drug. Ooh.
And so I smoked it, and you know, I don't know what, I didn't have a first defense. I didn't really care at that point. I had also been struggling with depression and anxiety for many years, and for me, like, that moment was like more of like the off to the races moment, if anything.
I see.
Because I felt happy, and I hadn't felt happy in many years since, like, I could remember. Yeah. Right. The earliest I remember having like self-harm and depression issues was like 10, 11.
I see.
But I think it started even earlier than that.
Sure.
And so, and I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional family as well, you know, along with the religious aspect. There was also like just, you know, some abuse and dysfunction as well.
Right.
And so for me, like, self-harm and SI and attempts were part of my life already.
Okay.
And so at 15, you know, the first time I smoked weed, I was like, I just laid back on the bed and started laughing and uncontrollably. And it was like a deep belly laugh that made me feel whole.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that drugs and alcohol did for me, is they made me feel whole, and they solved a problem that I had been looking for an answer, a solution to for many years.
I see.
And along with the, you know, starting to smoke weed, I started partying and drinking on the weekends, and I realized that, like, I was really good at doing bottle runs. And Albertsons had a no chase policy, and I only almost got caught one time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I managed to get away, but every other time, no one even like batted an eye, and I was like, well, I can just put a few handles in my oversized purse that were in style at the time, and I'd bring them to parties, and people loved me.
Right,
so
I
thought they loved me. They loved the alcohol I was bringing for them.
Yeah.
And people loved the weed that I would supply, and they loved that I had a car, because I got my license at 16, and and I bought myself a car with all my savings, and so I would drive people to the parties, and likely blacked out for a lot of that, because we'd pregame, and so you know, at the time I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I thought, you know, I just drink like everyone else does. It's just normal partying. I didn't realize that not everyone blacked out before they made it to the party, you know, and drove, you know, on top of that. I just thought like what I was doing was normal, and I thought that all the people around me were the bad influence, and it's, you know, it's their fault, not mine.
Right.
So again, that pops up for me.
You're a victim.
Always. And yeah, so for me, like, the drinking and the weed smoking lasted until I was about 17, 18.
Yeah.
I actually got in trouble with school again, fourth quarter of my senior year. Somebody printed out a vine of a joint that like black and white stills of a Vine that I posted of me rolling a joint. I don't know if you remember Vine, but it was like a social media thing with like short videos.
Yeah, I do remember Vine. Holy shit, that brought back memories.
Yeah. So somebody had brought that in, showed it to my principal. They pulled me into the office and they said, "Hey, we think you're a bad influence, and if you're gonna be smoking weed, we can't have you on campus. If you go to a juvenile outpatient program, we'll still give you your diploma if you finish all your work at home." So I did independent study for the rest of the year.
Oh shit.
And I went to Sharp Mesa Vista, like juvenile outpatient, and there is where I met people that were doing, you know, heroin and meth and
all those kids,
all the harder stuff. And I'd never done anything like that. I'd never been introduced to it. So for me, it was like, oh, I don't belong here. You know, the school it's their fault that they sent me here, and it'll be their fault if I, you know, if I move on to further stuff. And for a long time, when I moved on to harder stuff, I blamed that school for, you know, putting me in that situation, which is just so misguided on my part.
Right.
But that took me, until probably a year or two of sobriety to realize. But
Right.
then I made friends with these people really easily in this program. And I was interested in doing some other things, but I didn't go like crazy with the harder drugs just yet. It wasn't until I started working at the mall up in Carlsbad at a kiosk, and I met this guy, and and that's how it goes.
Right, it does.
I was, freshman in college, and
very young.
he had oxys. He had Roxy 30s, and I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
We were hanging out one time, and he was like, "You should take half of this. Like, it'll feel really good." And I was like, "All right, whatever." Like, I'm that trash can junkie that
Sure.
you give me something, I'll take it and then ask what it does. Like, I don't really care as long as it gets me out of my head, type of thing.
Shit.
So, like, I took it, and I felt good, and I was like, oh, I want more. And so we dabbled. Like, it took me about 6 months to realize that I was, like, building, like, a chemical dependency.
Right.
But still at that time, like, I did not know that there was an emotional need that I was filling. Like, I was self-medicating. I also have endometriosis, and I had docters that gave me Norcos for pain management.
Got it.
So I had like also had experiences with that, and so I was kind of taking those excessively.
Yeah.
And I was just like getting more and more into the quote unquote harder stuff, and with zero concern for the dangers of it. Like it made me feel good, and it fulfilled a purpose, and I was really into self-medicating, and I was still drinking a lot. But Roxy 30s became like my first like true love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I would do that above all else.
Right.
And for a while it was like okay, and then it was just the money is just insane that you start spending on these things. They get expensive.
Yeah.
The guy that I was with that introduced me to them, I blamed him for all of it. Again, just blaming other people and playing the victim. And in reality, like if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else that I would have gotten them from. I
for sure.
I had that urge and that desire to do more and get like completely obliterated.
Yeah.
Already within me. But I used him as an excuse. To do it.
His fault.
Yeah, and every time we tried to get clean together, I would blame him for getting us back on it. But really, like, he'd come home and I'd notice money missing, and I'd be like, "Oh, you got drugs, didn't you?"
Yeah.
And like first he'd try and like hide it and say no. And then I'd like find them or call him out, on whatever, and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna be mad at you if you don't give me any. But if you give me some, then we're good.
Yeah.
So like I just like manipulated it into like myself getting high again.
Right. There you go.
And I did the methadone thing on and off for a little bit. Yeah, that's a whole.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah, that was not fun. It makes you really feel like an addict, and I was pretty in denial about my addiction still at that point, and I hated feeling like there was like I was still convinced I was just physically dependent on it. Once I got rid of the physical dependency, I would be good to go. And then we were doing stuff that was gonna get us in trouble with the law. And it was a online credit card scam.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of how much I should share about this. I already went to jail for it, so I'm not like.
I mean, if you've been convicted of it, then fuck it.
I'm not super concerned with it, but So we were doing this credit card scam and using the money that we got from it to by more drugs, and things started heating up a little bit. The couple that we were doing the scheme with was like, they were a meth addict and a heroin addict, and they were getting really paranoid. And so I had quit one of my jobs. I was also working at In-N-Out at the time, and I got fired from In-N-Out because my manager found out that I was smoking weed on the job, which I was so mad because I'm literally doing like opiate, like pain pills in the locker room, like with a straw, and I got caught for weed. Like that was so
weak.
dumb.
That's weak.
But like thankfully, like that's all it was. I lost the job, so I didn't have a job. I didn't know, my boyfriend at the time was struggling to ever keep a job, and so we were just like, police are probably looking for us. We don't have any ties out here. Let's just pack everything up. We moved to Jersey.
There we go. Now we're in Jersey.
Yeah, so we went out to Jersey. We got jobs on the boardwalk.
Cool.
That was an interesting experience.
Was it?
A lot of cocaine in Jersey.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
There's drugs in Jersey?
Yeah, a lot of cocaine in Jersey.
Shit. I didn't know.
And there, like, I just did what I had to do to fit in. I got a coke dealer and a favorite bar, even though I was only 20 at the time, and I found a bar that would let me in. And
that's the favorite.
And that bar had in the girls' bathroom, there was a stall dedicated just for cocaine. So it was right up my alley.
Fuck yeah.
And like everyone that worked on the boardwalk in Wildwood, Jersey.
Nice.
That was the name of the town, Wildwood. Which
Wildwood.
is just like,
fuck yeah.
just a little telling, but like everyone did cocaine and drank when they got off from the boardwalk.
Right,
So I fit in really well. And I was still doing methadone. I had transferred my methadone clinic to one out there.
Oh, no shit.
And the insane thing is that, like, I didn't realize it at the time, but, like, I was full-blown addict behavior at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
full-blown. Like,
Absolutely.
to the point where we would be going through the toll roads, and my boyfriend at the time, he would stop the car, and I would get out, and I would go and collect all the quarters on the ground. We'd throw a couple in to get through the toll, and then I would use the rest of the quarters, maybe $5, to put a down payment on my methadone. So that's how I was getting my methadone doses, was like a bunch of quarters from the toll roads in Jersey Turnpike. And I thought this was normal behavior. We're just doing what we gotta do to get by.
Totally.
And so, like, even my boyfriend at the time, like, started thinking, like, there's something wrong with this girl. Like, she's like not doing okay. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure he was still using like Oxy and stuff while we were out there. He was pretty secretive about it a lot of times. But like, for me, like, I was trying to do good and I just wasn't. Like, I thought I was sober because I wasn't doing Oxy, but I was on methadone and cocaine and alcohol. Like, it wasn't
That's close. That's pretty close. That's pretty good.
You're sober. So from there, I got a call from my dad, and he was like, why are at the time, so I have since found out that it was not the U.S. Marshals that were looking for me, but at the time he said, why are the U.S. Marshals at my house looking for you?
Oh, shit.
And I was just like, well, I know why. I know what I did, but I'm not going to tell him that.
Course
and I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Wrong person.
Case of mistaken identity.
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, it was identity theft, felony identity theft, and I had 11 charges. So the plan that I had immediately come up with was, I'm gonna go to rehab because they can't arrest me while I'm in rehab. Yeah, inpatient. And,
for sure.
And if I turn myself in sober, they'll go easier on me, right?
Absolutely.
And I have this boyfriend that I can blame it all on.
Absolutely.
And say I was just a young 18-year-old and I didn't know what I was doing, and he got me hooked on drugs and made me do this identity theft.
Absolutely.
So that was my plan, and it worked. And it sucks, but it's like, you know, of course I was happy at the time, but like looking back on it, it was like just another way to enable me. And so I went to rehab. I went to the Sharp McDonald Center. I did detox at Sharp Mesa Vista.
Oh, so you went back over here?
Yeah. So my dad actually flew out to Jersey and drove my car back with me because we had driven there, me and my boyfriend. So my dad drove back with me. And he put me back on his insurance because I was still under 25. But I got off his insurance at 18 because I was like, fuck you. I hate my family.
You're independent.
Hyper independence was like my like main goal.
Right.
But he put me back on his insurance. And while we were waiting for the waiting period to hit, we just kind of took a really slow road trip. And like the memories of that road trip were so miserable.
Really?
I was still on methadone.
Sure.
Scared of going to jail and having to kick it cold turkey because methadone's one of the few things you can have a seizure and die from the withdrawals.
Yeah, that's just gnarly.
Methadone, benzos, and alcohol are the three that you can die from the withdrawals. So I was really worried about that. And so I was trying to taper myself. I got some take-home doses from the clinic I was at. And I would take like half a dose, every other day, or you know, I did my own weird form of slow taper.
Of course.
And my dad drove the whole way because I was either withdrawing or strung out, you know, one or the other.
You're going through your thing.
I was just not having a good time. And I even made him stop and buy weed, let me buy weed from, you know, that lived halfway across the country. And so like we stopped there and I was like, well, weed is better than what I'm on. And he was like, well, I guess. And so, you know, he was hesitant, but like he was seeing me like that. And like my dad had to see me that way. And that was really tough for him that, you know, and I came to find out, you know, his thoughts on it when I made my amends to him later. But,
of course. But at the time he was just worried about you.
Like I had no idea that I was causing so much harm right then. And, you know, I made him let me drink beer, and I made some random guy at a hotel we stayed at go buy me a bottle, and then you know I spent the night with him just to like be able to get that bottle, you know, and you know, my dad's wondering where I'm at. Like, I just disappear from the hotel, and it was just an insane time of my life, and it's such a blur. Like, I don't remember more than those details that I just shared. Like, and it was 2 weeks of driving cross country. And then we get to California, we cross state lines, we drive straight to the rehab, and I checked into the detox, did a week there, then 30 days at the Sharp McDonald Center. Amazing place. Definitely recommend to anyone who, you know, is looking for help. They did great things, and they also had a alumni meeting that I went to, cool. And that really connected me with people. And that's when I got my first sponsor.
Oh, cool.
But didn't do any of the work. Just did it to get people off my back. I was there so that I couldn't get arrested and so that I could turn myself in clean. And there were parts of me that was like starting to realize like, oh shit, like this has gotten bad. Like where have the last, you know, I was 20 at the time. Where have the last 3 years gone? You know? And how did I let it get this bad? And I was starting to realize that, you know, maybe I might be an addict. But somebody had said something that like really stuck with me. And they said, if you're not done, go get done. I hope you don't die. I hope you make it back. And in that moment, the sad thing is all I could think was, I'm not done yet. I'm just not done yet. And like I know how true those words are. And so I turned myself in. I did 6 weeks in jail. I turned 21 in a jail cell. I was on lockdown for a week and had my 21st birthday smack dab in the middle of that week. And so that, you know, that was a shitty experience, but like honestly, not that bad. Jail was like summer camp for me. It was the first time I wasn't working in school, like doing any of that.
It's a vacation.
Yeah, it felt like a vacation for me, and I made friends pretty easily. So, you know.
Yeah.
And so while I was in there, I met a girl and we started dating.
Oh, shit.
Mind you, I'm still engaged to my my boyfriend, fiance that I left back in Jersey.
So he's a fiance now.
Yeah, so yeah, he proposed with a ring pop. It was really stupid.
That's the most junky thing I've ever fucking heard, dude.
I ended up getting my own ring through the identity theft scheme that we were doing at Azale's, and
use that as the replacement.
I used that as a replacement. He pawned it like 6 times. Every time I tried to get it back, like
the wedding ring.
the worst.
Oh, now that's the most fucking junky thing I've ever heard.
It just gets worse, I swear.
Oh my god.
So where was I?
You're in jail. Yeah.
So I'm in jail. I meet this girl. I start dating her, behind my fiance's back. And we get out and we swear we're going to be clean together. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do it.
Absolutely.
I don't know how long she made it. I didn't make it a week.
Okay.
I was 80-something days sober at the time, and I did not hit my 90 days.
Nope.
I went out for a run one day. I ran over to a friend's baby shower. They had margaritas at the baby shower. I was like, well, I could have a margarita or 6. And then I blacked out. Don't know how I ended up with some other friends from the rehab that I had been to.
Oh, god damn.
We went to, and I blur this all together a little bit, but we had gone to a Halloween party. A sober one.
Okay.
Thought it was lame. Went out to the parking lot, drank, a bunch in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We get in the car. Last thing I remember is, I'm browning out all day.
Yeah.
Last thing I remember is being in the back seat eating a Hershey's Oreo chocolate bar. Yeah. And the next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital, had alcohol poisoning, and I told them I had done heroin. And I don't think I had done heroin that night, but I think I knew it was going to be in my system because I had gotten out and smoked heroin with my girlfriend from jail.
Yeah.
And so like it was all really blurry that whole week for me.
Yeah.
And then it turns out my friend that I was with, he found me in his bathtub, like coughing up blood, in the fetal position, unresponsive. He called my dad. My dad had to see me like that. He came and brought me to the ER. And so again, like my dad's just seeing me like this complete wreck, so worried about me, wanting to be involved, and I'm pushing him away like crazy.
Yeah.
And I did not understand the full weight of what I was doing to the people around me. Mm-hmm. I got out of the hospital and was like, I'm gonna go right back to what I'm doing.
I see.
Had a crazy night. Sometime maybe later that week, later that month, where I had all the psych meds I was given at the hospital in my system. Yeah. Probably in excess because I was always trying to, get more of whatever I was doing. So I had way too much of that stuff in my system. I did whippets. I did, I smoked weed, drank.
Okay.
I think that was maybe the first time I did GHB, which I did a lot more later in life. And then I was like, none of this is good enough. I want heroin and I want it now. And we were waiting on somebody to bring it, and I couldn't wait for the stuff to smoke. My friend had some ready to shoot up, and so that was the first time I shot up.
Oh.
I let her do it, and because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
She gave me the first shot. While I'm nodding off, I say, I don't think I feel it. I think I need more, because I'm a fucking junkie. And, like, it's never enough. Like, I'm literally nodding off, and I need more.
Yeah, you want more.
And so she gives me another shot.
She does?
Unfortunately, it's the shot she had loaded up for herself, who she was
she had a tolerance.
Yeah, a tolerance. She was a seasoned meth and heroin user with needles. And she gives me her shot. I fall out immediately.
Yeah.
wake up with paramedics all around me. They said my lips were blue. I was completely, I was dead. They gave me Narcan twice because I fell out again after the first dose.
Wow.
And so, they told my friends, don't let her use any more drugs today. She's stable, but don't let her fall asleep. Don't let her take any naps.
Right.
They left, and that was that. We were in the car again, me and my friends, looking for more drugs.
God, man.
Like that. Like it doesn't get more junky than that. And
I've been there.
It's like that's just what we do, and the insanity of it is just like, I look back and it's like, how did I have no conception of like what I was doing to myself? And like I think that there was a huge part of me was that I struggled with my mental health, and I didn't care.
Right.
Like I was like not trying to actively kill myself.
Right.
But if I died, I didn't really mind.
Right.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, okay, well, that's the permanent escape, I guess.
Right.
Like it just seemed like, permanent vacation.
Right.
And I was so broken inside, but like I didn't know a way out, and I wasn't willing to do any of the work yet. The next couple of years, I moved out to Georgia to be with my fiance. I had broken up with my girlfriend, and lived out in Georgia for 2 years, on and off sober and not, using pills here and there.
I see.
Didn't really use any heroin out there, but I had used it for on and off for about a year before I moved. And I finally had this moment with my, ex, that I was like, I'm keeping a roof above our heads. Like I was in my head, I wasn't an addict because I always had a job. I always had a roof over my head. I always had food in the fridge. I was taking care of him and his 4-year-old daughter at the time.
Oh, no shit. So you had a daughter?
Yeah. And she called me mom. Like I was like, well, I'm better for her than, him and her birth mother. Right. Which, is a whole thing in of itself.
I imagine so.
They're both addicts, on and off, in and out of jail, and I thought I was the best thing for her. I came to realize that that's just, something that I was telling myself because I wanted to be her mom so badly. And I was just done, and done with the relationship, done with the drugs.
How long were you with him, if you don't mind me asking?
5 years.
I see.
Yeah, from 18 to 23.
I see.
So I was 23 at this point. I found out he had relapsed on my birthday, and he was high at my birthday, like at our on our date for my birthday. And I'm like, you didn't even let me get high with you on my birthday.
How selfish
how
of him.
Fucked up
How
are
selfish
you?
of him. Could have at least saved you something.
Could have shared, but he didn't. And for some reason, that was the final string with him. And I booked a ticket. It was so hard to leave that little girl. And I came back to San Diego. Less than 2 weeks later, and I went on a kind of rampage of, fulfilling my needs with sex and food and party drugs, not the hard drugs.
Oh, good.
So I was drinking heavily, but I found people to do, cocaine and mushrooms and acid and eventually DMT, lots of GHB, nice. And again, I think I'm sober because I'm not doing heroin. I'm not doing oxy. So I'm just doing the fun stuff. Yeah. And which is insane again. I blamed all the people around me, and that went on for about 2 more years.
Wow, holy shit.
Eventually, I was still so broken emotionally, masking with all of these drugs. Completely uncomfortable in my own skin sober. COVID just completely messed things up because like I realized that I was drinking every day and I was no longer working, and I was living with a guy that let me do that and provided a lot of the drugs and alcohol, and we lived in a penthouse apartment, and people loved us because we hosted big parties. And and I thought they were all my friends, and then I broke up with him. He found out a month later. I was still living with him after I broke up with him. He went through my phone a month later and found out that I had cheated on him before I broke up with him. And so he kicked me out, and of course, and so I was waiting on the keys to my new apartment. I stayed with a friend for a couple of weeks, and then I got my new place, and then I just realized I was completely alone.
Yeah.
All I had, I had gotten a job nannying. All I had was wake up, go to work, come home, drink a few bottles of wine, or part of a handle of tequila. Those were my big things at that time, because I didn't have access to all the drugs that I was getting for free before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I moved into this place, I needed help moving a piano into this like little studio apartment. And I had reached out to take it all the way back to middle school boyfriend.
Really? The middle school boyfriend?
And I reached out to him on Facebook.
What?
We started talking. And he offered to help with the piano. I don't think I straight up like messaged him and was like, "Hey, can you help me with the piano?" We had started talking. I don't know who messaged you first, but
I haven't talked to you in years. But I need this piano.
Yeah, but I was just like talking about needing to do this thing, and he was like, "Oh, well, I have a thing with the what's the thing on the back of the truck?" Like a hitch.
A hitch, yeah.
He had a hitch on the back of his car, and he was like, "I can help you move it. We can get a little trailer or whatever." So he helps me, and as we're driving, he pulls out a pipe, and I know that he fallen into addiction in his later years, and I didn't really mention anything about it. But he pulls out a pipe, and I know that his drug of choice is meth. And I look at him, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you can't smoke meth while you're driving with a piano like towing behind you, like with me in the car. What are you doing?"
Not good idea.
And he goes, "Oh, no. And like, I had tried meth a few times, wasn't for me. Still did it like 5 or 6 times.
Of course.
But like, it just like wasn't my like drug of choice.
Yeah.
I preferred like opiates and opioids.
Same.
and so he goes, "Oh, well, it's not meth. It's not what you think." And I was
not meth.
I was like, "It's not meth, really?"
Yeah,
like, really? Like, it's a meth pipe. So what are you smoking out of a meth pipe?
It's very distinct looking. You can't really.
And he's like, "Oh, no, it's fentanyl."
Oh. Wow.
My mindset changed immediately. I think I'm over the opiates, the opioids. Like, I think like that's done.
Yeah.
Past part of my life. I figured it out.
Yeah.
And my mind immediately clicks into how am I going to get him to offer me that so it can be his fault that I do it.
I see.
Because I'm a fucking junkie.
Yeah.
And it's got to be your
fault.
Yeah,
he brought it around you. So you have
of course. And so I'm like, I've never tried that. Like, we get back to my place. I have a couple of drinks to build up some courage. I'm like, "Hey, you're welcome to spend the night here if you do."
Oh my God.
He was sleeping in his car, and he helped me move the piano. It's the nice thing to do. And you also have fentanyl, and I want to do some. So you can stay the night.
Yeah.
Jesus. And I was like, I've never tried it before. What does it feel like? Like, I was like one of those little kids that like wants to like have the candy that you're having. Like, I've never tried that. What does it taste like? Like, I was just like, well, what does it feel like? and so he's like, well, like, you kind of have to like try it. Like, it's hard to explain. And I was like, well, like,
yeah, you have to try it.
I don't know. And he was like, well, do you want to try it? And I'm like, oh, course.
I love it. You played the part.
So I did what I came here to do. And I tried it, and and then that turned into a 24-hour bender. We're just stuck in my apartment. He leaves at one point to go get more drugs, comes back.
Yeah.
And, at one point I'm smoking it and I'm walking, but he notices, apparently, according to him, he noticed that I was looking like I was about to fall out.
Yeah.
So he stuck a meth pipe in my mouth and made me smoke meth.
Yeah.
Which probably saved my life, honestly.
It's happened with me.
Yeah. So it's like, and it was just like, it was a crazy 24 hours. And then I felt so guilty afterwards. I just like completely cut him off. Like I was like, I can't like be involved in this anymore. But like, oh, that felt so good. Like I can't, like, I don't know what to do. And so like, I just supplemented with drinking more. And, at one point I'm a few months later, I'm like Googling, does 4 bottles of wine a night make you an alcoholic? According to Google, it does.
It does?
But they didn't factor in the tolerance that I might have. And,
there's that.
I made all these excuses for why it doesn't apply to me. And
ask Chat GPT. Maybe it'll help you.
Exactly.
Help you with your rationalization.
And so it's just like, it wasn't working for me anymore. The solution that I thought I had found at 15 of drugs and alcohol to cure my pain, emotional and physical and more, was no longer working for me, and I did not want to live anymore. And I was at a place, I was so broken that I knew something had to change. I couldn't keep living the way that I was living, but I didn't know what to do. And, looking back now, I know this was my God, my higher power that I believe in, that was looking out for me. I was at a 4th of July party with some friends, a guy I used to drink with. Yeah. He was like 3 months sober at the time. He invited me to a meeting.
Oh, no shit.
And I was just drunk enough to say yes, but I was not so drunk that I was blacked out. So I actually remembered it the next day was like, fuck, why did I say yes to this? I don't know, what I'm going to do. I need to get him off my back. Maybe I'll just go to this one meeting just to get him, off my back. And I, a few days later, July 7th is my sobriety date. A few days later, I go to this meeting. I had gotten home from work, and the 2 hours between getting home from work and this meeting were like miserable. Because normally I pouring a glass of wine or a margarita, which is really this much tequila and a splash of margarita mix. Those were my 2 drinks. And by the time I got home, like immediately that was like straight in my system. And I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. And so I'm like, okay, I think I drove early to the meeting and just sat in my car for a little bit. I didn't know what to do. And I get to this meeting and I see my friend and I sit with him. And it starts to feel familiar. I'm not a stranger to the rooms at this point. And I started to feel like I belonged. Okay. I felt really nervous. I felt like, people there maybe understood kind of how I felt, but not really. I maybe I was too broken, too much of a mess. Like I just felt really uncomfortable. And I think I felt so uncomfortable because I knew that I was an alcoholic and I knew that I was an addict. And I finally was admitting it to myself, and I didn't really want to hear it. But I introduced myself. Tried to sneak out the back at the end of the meeting. People wouldn't let me. They were like, "Oh, hi!
I hate that.
You gotta get numbers. Gotta get contacts." And people invited me to more meetings, and it's crazy how it works, because I was just like there for it was literally an hour after the meeting, and I was still there talking to people. And I don't normally fellowship for that long after meetings, but that day I must have needed it, because when I got in the car on the way home, I didn't feel like I needed to take a drink
Yeah.
when I got home. So I went to bed sober. And I woke up the next day and I went to work. And then I had another meeting that I could go to.
I see.
And I was like, okay, well, I guess like maybe I could just use like maybe a tolerance break. Like, I don't know if I'm doing this thing for real, but like maybe I just stop for a little bit and see how long I can last. Like just test myself a little.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I started going to these meetings and I started making friends and a community of people that didn't expect anything back from me, which is crazy to me because all my relationships and friendships up to this point had been purely transactional.
Yeah.
And I just showed up and I tried to listen. A lot of the times that first week especially were really hard.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going through withdrawals. Thankfully, just from alcohol, I'd gone through, you know, cold turkey with opiates many times. And that was, you know, a whole other type of hell. But, you know, with alcohol, it can be really dangerous. And I just did it at home and I was still going to work and I was going to meetings. I don't know how I made it through that week.
I feel you. Shit.
It's such that first week's such a blur to me, but I did what people told me to do. I did not listen to my own thoughts whatsoever. Because anytime I listened to my own thoughts, I got myself in more and more trouble. So it seemed like I couldn't trust myself. My intuition was shot. I really was at a place where I was willing to try anything. And if these people said that this would work for me, somebody who's as much of a junkie as I've been and I've shared today, you know, just tidbits of the extents of that.
Yeah.
And so I kept going to meetings.
Yeah.
I went to, I remember that Monday was the first time I went to a meeting on my own that I found myself. The other ones people had like recommended for me, but this one I like actually sought out. Like I looked it up online and it was an online meeting, so I didn't have to like go and like it wasn't embarrassing. Like I kept my camera off. I sat through the meeting, and then like I heard some girl give a phone list announcement, and I was like, she kind of sounds cool, and people say I should get a sponsor. Maybe I'll talk to her, see if she wants to get coffee with me or something.
Okay. And
I did that, and she did, and I was just
like, you're like surprised,
crazy.
Yeah,
like why would you want to get coffee with me?
Yeah.
And then she did, and she let me sob and tell my whole story for 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually shortened it down quite a bit
you did.
Like I told her my story and she listened and she shared how she related. And that was the only thing I really needed is people that have been through similar experiences telling me they've been there, they got through it, this is how. You don't have to do what you've been doing for so long anymore.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to suggestions. And she's never once told me what to do, what I have to do, because I am very, you know, defiant. And if you tell me what to do, I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And so she just made suggestions. She was like, you might want to do this. Like, if you don't, like, whatever. But if you do, like, it might be easier on you. And sometimes I followed her suggestions. Sometimes I didn't. And usually when I didn't, I find out why she made those suggestions in the first place. And,
absolutely.
And, you know, over time, it just like became this, like the most solid, genuine relationship that I had in my life. And she taught me how to have relationships with other people and how not to be a user and manipulator and a victim and a blamer and all of these things that I thought were like ingrained in my core. I thought these were who I was. And like all full disclosure, I am still some of those things some of the time. Right. You know, I'm not like 100% cured, better,
You're not,
angel.
You're not a saint no more?
Yeah, I'm not a saint by any means. I don't work the program that I work perfectly. I don't do sobriety perfectly. I don't do anything in life perfectly, but I have become so accustomed to doing the uncomfortable things, the uncomfortable work that is necessary to stay away from that first drink or drug.
Right.
And really that's all that I can do is stay away from that first drink or drug, because once I have that first time, all bets are off.
All bets, yeah.
And I just got to keep doing the things that I've been doing to keep that defense up from that first drink or drug. Today I have such genuine friendships. I live with an amazing roommate. We're talking about. She's just so. The kind of person that you want in your life.
Absolutely.
And I have so many of those people that, when things go wrong, when shit hits the fan, I can reach out to them and I can, lay some of the burden on them. And let's be honest, it is a burden that I am laying on them, and they are well equipped to handle it.
Right.
And when they're not, I have an abundance of people willing to shoulder the burden with me.
Right.
I'm never alone.
Right.
And that is the only thing that I ever felt all through my addiction, is alone. No matter how many people were around me, I felt utterly and desperately alone. And today I don't have to feel that. If I do, it's of my own doing. It's because I'm isolating, which is,
It's a habit.
it's a habit. So
Right.
I do it out of habit, but I have to pull myself intentionally out of isolation and reach out to people. And when I reach out, I'm met with kindness and goodness and love, genuine love that I've been craving my whole life. And all I have to do is love them back.
Yeah.
They don't ask for anything. I try to be there for them and do what I can to, give back to the people that are around me. But they don't require anything from me, but just show up sometimes.
Right.
And learning that from them taught me I can have a relationship with my family, because all my family really wants is me to show up.
Yeah.
Preferably sober.
Of course.
I caused so much havoc in their lives as well. And amending those relationships took so much time.
Of course it is.
I just hit my 4 years and I'm still, making my way through mending those relationships. And today I have relationships with people I didn't think I ever wanted relationships with. When I got sober, I was like, oh, fuck that guy. He sucks. But turns out it was me that needed to change. Go figure.
Shit. What?
And it wasn't me to my core. I'm not a bad person. I'm a fucking addict.
Yeah.
It's not my fault, but it is my responsibility to make it right.
Yeah. I agree with that statement. Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate having you on here. Again, I absolutely think you're a wonderful person, and I'm so glad that roommate gave me a good recommendation, man. Because I truly think you have a lot of awareness and a lot of just a lot of good solid recovery in you, and I truly think that's amazing. And you got clean and sober just, I think, in the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because you're especially because you're an opiate addict. It could have, this fetish shit was just happening right when.
And before it's time, but I count my blessings all the time.
Yeah.
I see it, and the way that it affects people's lives today is just devastating, and it's getting worse. And
yeah, absolutely.
It's so hard to see, but I really appreciate you having me on here. Whatever I can do to help with this epidemic is, I'm happy to do it. I'm honored to be on here, and I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you, and I'm honored to have you here. All right. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.